So, the big question is this: how are ambitious people like us, who don't have a lot of resources, did not go to Ivy League colleges, were not born into wealth, how do we become resourceful enough? Use our creativity, our dedication, and a little bit of crazy to bootstrap our way to realizing our dreams. Whether it is launching a new company, launching a new app, or making it to the top of the corporate ladder. That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this new episode of Bootstrapping Your Dreams show. I'm Manoj Agarwal, your host. And with me today is a young entrepreneur, the co-founder and co-owner of Turntables LLC, DeAndre Wilson.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. So DeAndre, he is delighted and ready to discuss business development, coupled with some grave mistakes to avoid, to enable you to run your business smoothly and successfully. So welcome once again, DeAndre.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, DeAndre is a young bootstrap entrepreneur that has done a lot for himself and his business in the past 5 years, largely because of his expertise in leveraging tools like social media and building a great brand. He has graciously consented to this interview and share his extensive knowledge and wisdom to help us avoid making some damaging mistakes in this area, so that every entrepreneur or professional can understand how to identify market opportunities while avoiding some mistakes in business development. All right, so let's jump in. My first set of questions are going to be about your background and your education, so that our audience can relate to where you are and how you can help them with business development and so on.
Absolutely.
All right. So why don't you give us a little bit of your background in terms of your education and experience in entrepreneurship and business development?
Perfect. Okay. My background is in hospitality, front of the house, restaurants. I went to school for hospitality, and within that program, we had to do practicals. So we had to do these mock restaurant demonstrations. We had to cater events on campus at school. So while I was doing that, I was also doing it for a job. So I was getting experience all around. I couldn't escape from it because I loved what I do. So I put that passion from the classroom, from homework, into real life, then from real life into developing a business that my brother and I, we love so much.
Awesome. That's great. So when you went to school, was it for specifically marketing or business development, or was it more geared towards culinary skills or becoming a chef?
Well, basically, once I was in the hospitality program, I understood, while taking those classes, that, after we had to present on how to build a business plan, I kind of fell in love with that because I understand the process.
Okay.
And I loved that. We had some speakers come in and judge our business plans and critique them. And believe it or not, I got an A. I passed. They all supported. And I said, this could be a thing, because we want to start a business, but we really don't want to, but we kind of talked about it. And I said, well, if I make a great business plan, I think that's half the battle. It's a small portion of it. So we dove in.
Awesome. So when you started implementing your business plan, take us through that journey. Were you an overnight success, or did you have some roadblocks along the way?
Absolutely. We had a lot of roadblocks. So basically, when we were doing this business plan, putting it together, we learned about being very patient.
Okay.
We live in, I live in Evansville, Indiana. So we talk about great food. We talk about developing a business plan or getting a kitchen so we can operate out of. It's very hard to do so. So we had to become very patient along in the process. And that's what I want, a lot of the listeners to take away from, is learning the process and then being patient. Yes, you want to be ready, and the entrepreneurial spirit is to just spearhead it and go for it. But sometimes you just have to be prepared and patient. So yeah, that's what the roadblocks is. We were so anxious to just get started and go, but we had to be very patient, and we had to make sure that the business plan was well developed, and we expressed so much of our thought and our experience in there, because a lot of people don't understand the food industry.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we had to walk a lot of individuals through, especially when we went for a small business loan, which we did receive, but we had to really hold a lot of commercial lenders' hands on this, because here we are, millennials, college students. They don't even know what we're talking about, but because we had the resume to back it up, the experience to back it up, they took a chance with us.
Awesome. That's great. All right. So let's talk about some mistakes that entrepreneurs make in this area. So what is the first and, the biggest mistakes that you have noticed entrepreneurs make while developing their business or a business plan?
Absolutely. So recently I became a SCORE mentor, and basically it's just free business mentoring resources that's offers pretty much a SCORE office in almost every city. So while I was doing that, even as a student and entrepreneurs would come to me, I would see that the cost analysis or the budget was ignored, barely given any attention. And that's what people, commercial lenders or investors are going to challenge you on. Yes, your about me is important, and your strategic marketing plan is important, and your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan is important, but it's all about that cost analysis. So we had to break that down to finite form. So that they understood. So my advice for entrepreneurs or even professionals, really focus on that budget, or, itemizing those cost items. You got to focus on the numbers.
For sure. That's a pretty good advice. So let's say, we have an eager entrepreneur and they want to get a loan or get investors, but they fail to focus on this aspect, budgeting and cost analysis. So what are the consequences they have to deal with if they make this mistake?
So the first one is, let's say that they built a business plan and they didn't give it the attention they needed. Well, when they present this business plan into a group of individuals, 3 or more, and they start to get some pushback, I hate to see an entrepreneur kind of start to tremble a little bit because they didn't do their homework. The plan is there, the passion is there, but again, it just goes back to, you have to understand the numbers and how you're going to support them and make that income and pay your employees. For us, we didn't realize that we have to pay people. And then you also have to educate that, for example, if your employees is making $9 an hour, really they're making $10 an hour. That's what you have to pay, that extra dollar. As entrepreneurs, we get so caught up in that passion in the product. My God, the numbers will overwhelm you. So entrepreneurs really just dial back and focus on the numbers, because what'll happen is that commercial lender or that investor will be so blown away, they'll love you forever, and then they'll want to invest. And then they'll look at your business plan, the rest of it, like this is gold.
Okay. Now, what about some other listeners or viewers who may have already made this mistake, and they may be already dealing with this, where they have a business plan but they haven't focused on the budget? What can they do to fix it? Are there any tools? Are there any frameworks they can use to put it all together once again and fix that mistake?
Absolutely there is. So for us, I like to very analytical. I like to do a lot of research. So I took the business plan to a business consultant here in Evansville, Indiana, and I told him, I said, hey, help us. Once he helped us to his ability, I took our business plan back into the classroom, and I said, okay, my fellow classmates, help me. So then they did it. There's a website that we use called chefresources.com, and it broke a lot of ideas down and some tools and some calculations we may need. I went through a series of small business classes that the community offered, such as the Kaufman business classes, Mentors Protege, and then the CAPE IDA business classes. So our business plan was groomed probably about 5 times before I submitted again to a commercial lender or an investor, because I like to get different perspectives.
Yeah.
And someone will see something that I didn't see. This person will see something that we didn't see, and that caused the business plan to just be so well put together. Now, I would say don't overdo that. I felt like we did. I had so many eyes on the cost analysis, but I mean, I got carried away.
Yeah.
But it worked out.
Sure. Yeah. Those are good points. Like asking for help from the community, asking for help from consultants. That certainly expedites the progress for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I know sometimes a consultant can be out of your budget, but the cool thing with us is since we serve food, we said, hey, we'll feed you. Let's trade resources.
Yeah. So, I mean, any expert or a professional who wants to start a business or entrepreneur, they can actually offer their services to in exchange for some advice. And also, in many cases, they can look for consultants or help online where they are experts offering help at a very reasonable cost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Now let's take it one step further. So what is this mistake that often causes entrepreneurs to fail entirely with their business? For example, they have done the business plan and everything. They've started the business. They have the funding. What is the next step or the next mistake they tend to make?
So another mistake would be lack of planning. It's good and it's very important that you set a 3-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year goal. And then at some point, see, I'm very fortunate because I have a business partner. So he can take front of the house responsibilities, back of the house responsibilities if necessary. He is the head chef, but I can focus on the business side. So I can make sure that we're turning a profit, bills are getting paid, and that we're staying focused on our social media. I understand that every entrepreneur doesn't have that teamwork. So through that road, an entrepreneur is going to have to figure out how to get some help in certain areas. Perhaps the first one is bookkeeping. I know later on this year I'm going to hire a bookkeeper because I need to take that work and give that to them. I can't do it anymore. The first year of bookkeeping was stressful. So it's important that the entrepreneur along the way figures out, okay, what are my strengths, what are my talents, and how to give those responsibilities to a professional that actually does that, and feel confident and trust them to do that. So finding, some other professional to help you along the way, and then creating a plan and sticking to, like I said, a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan, because we know that most businesses don't make it after the 3rd year. But I guarantee you they would if they had a plan.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, those are very good points. You cannot do everything on your own. So, again, along the same lines of what we discussed earlier, asking for help from experts and offloading your work and free up your time is very important. So
yes.
One thing you mentioned there was social media, and I know that you have done a lot in terms of using social media to build your brand. So can you shed a little bit of light on that? How did you use social media to your advantage?
Oh, absolutely. So Turntable LLC is 5 years old. It'll be 6 years old this year. So for the first 5 years, the total of 5 years, what Jeff and I did was, we know the saying, you eat with your eyes first. So we would post food pictures almost every single day, and people loved it and they couldn't stand it. They said, "Where are we going to get this food? Where can we find it? Where can we get it?" I said, "It's just Jeff and I in our kitchens having a good time." Over time, people would actually harass us because it's like, "We want you to cater. We need your food. We see all this stuff on social media." I mean, I was posting it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It was going everywhere. And the thing that, people couldn't have the food, but what made them so interested is it was consistent.
Oh, yeah.
And the pictures look nice. I also have a presence within the community. So people were always constantly talking about it, and they forgot that they really couldn't eat it. They just wanted to talk about it and view it. So we were able to leverage that and keep that momentum going. So now it transferred into, okay, in that 5th year, we're actually catering, we're actually going, and business was so profitable for us. We normally, small businesses normally don't see a profit that early, but because we had the business locked in for so long, it was a benefit. So yeah, leveraging social media, using those hashtags, make sure pictures are clear and consistent. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. So help us understand. So what was your business? So if you're posting pictures, are you running a restaurant, or like how come people cannot order the food that you're posting the pictures of?
Well, for the first 4 years they couldn't, because we didn't have a commercial kitchen, and it's very important that we have that. But we're a catering company, so I've been getting some business that way. Okay. We also do local festivals. I see. We have a huge festival. We have 2 that we have so much fun at, Parks Fest and the Jazz and Wine Festival. We have fed roughly in both of those nights close to 800 people.
I see. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. And those festivals kind of catapult us to the front of the line, so that business is returning throughout the year, and people are coming back for seconds and thirds that night. So that's what we do. We're a catering company, and we focus on catering, but we understand that, festivals are pretty nice. Awesome. So that's why we don't have a restaurant. We don't want a restaurant. Restaurants too much.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So moving on to the next question. So sometimes it takes only, some sort of convincing to understand that we are making a mistake and we don't realize it. So can you think of a mistake that people generally think is in their best interest, but actually they are working against themselves or harming their business?
Yeah. Actually, I would say for us, whenever we are, Jeff and I, who is the head chef or the owner of Turntable, when we have this debate, what we did was we put together a board, an advisory board of 5 members, and we meet with them. Of course, we feed them, but we meet with them, and they kind of help us make these decisions. But I would say one example was the debate of if we're ready for a food truck. And we kept going back and forth. He said that we wasn't, and I was torn because we just had so much business. It was ready. But when you think about a food truck, if the axle breaks or the engine goes out or the transmission goes out, you're done. Yeah. So Jeff and I, we were able to compromise on a concession trailer. You just pull that thing. What's worse that can happen there is a tire blows? That's perfect. We'll change that. So I felt like I was working against myself, because I was like, are we ready? Are we not ready? No, I feel like we're ready. But that's one thing, is that you get caught up in the emotions. You have to think clearly about the business and the future of it.
Awesome. Okay, that's great. Now let's talk about identifying the market opportunities. So, I know that you are very passionate about this topic as well. So how can entrepreneurs identify these market opportunities faster than others? And obviously, the sooner they can identify these market opportunities, the sooner they can launch their businesses.
Absolutely. So in the 4th year of Turntable's existence, Jeff and I gave all the food away for free.
Okay.
Every single piece for free. Here's what we did. We had a guest comment card. When we gave them fish tacos or some type of burger he made or what have you, we gave him a comment card, and we said, is this traditionally what you like? How does this taste? How does it look? You with your eyes first. We asked all the questions, rate this from 1 to 5. And we did that for a whole year.
Wow.
So we were understanding what the market wanted. They were getting to experience us firsthand.
Yeah, yeah.
We took that feedback back to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, once we had a year's worth of established relationships, everything has kind of blossomed for us.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. That's great. Now, is there anything else that I have not asked you about successful business planning or development that you may want to share with the audience?
I think you did a fantastic job because we got right to it. I felt like the listeners will be able to take away from a lot of what we discussed thus far. Just about being patient and being thorough. That's just two, I guess, entrepreneurial focuses, and knowing that you can't do it all on your own. Like I said, as soon as we make some, some extra money, I'm hiring a bookkeeper.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the CPA. Now we're going to do a bookkeeper.
That's awesome. Great advice. Thank you, DeAndre. This was a fantastic interview. I'm sure all the entrepreneurs and professionals in our audience have a much clearer understanding of how they can avoid these simple mistakes and help their business flourish. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, DeAndre. This was an amazing interview, and I hope everyone in the audience enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So again, I'm Manoj Agarwal, and thanks a lot for joining us on the Bootstrapping Your Dreams show. I'm guessing there are a lot of type A ambitious personalities in the audience today. And you guys are always busy thinking about your next big move, your next plan to conquer the world. I know, because I'm also constantly trapped inside my own head. To avoid stress and live a healthy and happy life, I highly recommend Ziva Online Meditation course. This course is taught by world-renowned meditation teacher Emily Fletcher. Trust me, meditation has been scientifically proven to reduce stress and heal chronic ailments. So if you want to learn meditation, then you would want to check out this course for sure. I can vouch for it. It helped me tremendously. Go to go.tetranoodle.com/Z1. That's go.tetranoodle.com/Z1. And now, I'd like to invite you to check out my software consulting services and professional training programs at www.tetranoodle.com. We provide world-class consulting services on anything related to technology and software. And we are growing very fast in the areas of education and professional training for software and IT engineers. If you enjoyed this episode, then please do share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes to get automatic episode updates for our Bootstrapping Your Dreams show. And finally, please take a minute to leave us an honest review and rating on iTunes. They really help us out when it comes to the ranking of the show, and I make it a point to read every single one of the reviews we get. Thanks for listening. Stay happy and curious. Have a great day.